There might be some weakness creeping up in this market, so let's check it out. And as usual in every video, we got our research from MacroOps to help us. And this is our global macro research and consulting firm. They do the research and I just read it out loud. That's the power of being a YouTuber. So as we know, compression regimes lead to expansionary regimes. Remember, that's how markets work. They compress and then they expand. And right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is coming out of a tight squeeze with its Bollinger Bands below the 5th percentile. And you know, Bollinger Bands just kind of show the volatility within an equity. And whenever they move outside those bands, it's a bit of a signal. Now, as you can see right here, the Dow Jones, its Bollinger Band's really compressed. It's beneath this 5% level, which is just a signal that it's about to break out. And that squeeze actually resolved itself last week with a breakout to the downside and a close on its lows, which is not good. But that's the thing about breakouts after a compression. They could either be to the upside or the downside. You don't actually know when you're in the middle of a consolidation. You can have a hint, like you could weigh the probabilities, like maybe it's a 60% chance of an upside breakout, and that'll be dependent on things like sentiment and fundamentals. But you don't actually know until it happens, and in this case it broke to the downside. So we've had 5 consecutive bear bars here with a close on its low for the week. So this was all last week, following that significant compression. So this does seem like a legit breakout to the downside, which is not good. So Friday marked that 5th straight bear bar, and our backtester says that there is usually downside over the following 10 trading days after that kind of reading. So probability is that we go lower from here. There's some other signs of weakness in the market as well. For example, the lack of follow through in the breakout in transports. You can see right here, try to break out from this descending wedge. Well, it's not a wedge, but you know, descending pattern. But it pretty much failed. And now if it closes below this green line, look out below. That's a major support and it needs to hold. If it breaks, very bearish. And of course, it's mid-September right now, which tends to be the weakest part of the year from a seasonality perspective for markets. Now, that doesn't mean that we're turning full bearish or something. The SPYs and the Qs are still in a firm uptrend, but we could see a shakeout this week or the next. And you can see right here, yeah, we're getting a bit of a turnaround in the Qs and the same in the S&P as well. But remember, our thesis still holds that we're in the middle of a buy climax. So even if we see this turnaround, we think it's going to resume pretty hard. So this is a very short-term turnaround. You could take a closer look here. The day isn't over, but look how it came off its lows. And that's the power of candlesticks that you can actually see that. Now we got about 3 hours till close right now, but it will be a good sign if we don't close on the lows, but you don't know what's going to happen, right? There's a lot of action between 3:30 and 4. So we'll see. Now this bear market risk indicator has been floating around the internet a lot recently, basically saying that we're at an increased risk of a bear market coming. Now we have our own MO bear market risk indicator, which measures the Z-score of hedge fund positioning, credit market technicals, bond flow, CPI, and consumer sentiment. So we do see that happening as well, but the thing is, those charts don't account for the shift in Fed policy and the recent shocks caused by the Delta variant and supply chain issues. So we are due for a period of higher volatility at some point, but growth is still strong and it should stay so. So don't be too worried about a bear market yet. The longer term trend is still up. Something interesting is that the S&P and the NASDAQ don't really tell you what the full picture is of what's been going on in the broader market over the last few months. If you look at small caps, that's going to give you a fuller picture, where over 55% of small caps have dropped by more than 20% and 72% by more than 15%. So there has been a decent correction happening already. So all in all, the bull trend is intact, but we may see a bit of a dip here. If you're looking for a market that's breaking out, look to Japan. The Nikkei recently broke out and the move was supported by a major breadth thrust. And you guys know all about breadth, right? You want a bunch of stocks moving together, and that's what we saw in this breakout. So this historically leads to extended follow through. And from a valuation perspective, Japan trades at about the middle to lower middle of the pack relative to others and its own historical multiple. So if you look at all these different ways to evaluate it, from dividend yield, price to sales, price to book, enterprise value over EBITDA, it's in a pretty good valuation pocket. So it has some room to move, at least from a fundamental perspective. And don't forget, if you want to make this all easier on yourself so you don't have to think about the markets, make sure you check out our free training right here. I'll put a link in this video and down below in the description and comments. This is how we automate all our investing, so we really don't have to do anything else. You just set it up and let it work. You can see exactly how it works and exactly how we do it in this training right here. So click that and I will see you in the training.